In this video, I'm going to begin summarizing the quest lore for the Blood Elf starting zone. If you skipped over reading the quest while leveling in World of Warcraft, like I did, then this will catch you up on what you missed out on. So let's jump right in and find out what's going on with the Blood Elves in World of Warcraft. So I'm going to preface this by reminding everyone that this was done before the revamp of all the starting quests in Cataclysm. Having said that, get ready for some chaos, because a lot of the quests just don't make complete sense, in that you have to think harder than you should. At least I had to, which doesn't equate to a fun gaming experience. Things are going to start out pretty streamlined, but about 3 episodes into this, it's gonna get crazy. We'll burn that bridge when we get there. So I'm gonna do my best to try and make sense of these quests. But if you wanna see what I'm talking about, go start a Blood Elf and read them for yourself. You'll see what I mean. So, here we go. You begin in the northern region of the Eastern Kingdoms, in an area called the Sunstrider Isle. The first thing you do is speak to Magistrix Irona. She tells you that the sooner you begin your education, the better it is for all of us, and mentions that the floating, burning green crystals located to the west of the Sunspire have been used to power the island's experimentations. The mana worms were the crystal's guardians, but the Scourge invasion of kael'thas made it so that we really couldn't control them anymore. So the only thing we can really do is take them out. And specifically, she wants you to kill 6 of them. Now you head out and kill 6 of the mana worms. Then you head back to report. Irona says that you've completed your first task, and that continued success will not only be rewarded with knowledge, but with tangible things as well. With that, you're given the green plate boots for having killed the mana worms. Magistrix Irona has learned that the unchecked power of the burning crystals has really messed up things on this island. So much that the nearby links have given into the influence of the crystals, and they also need to be put down as well. So she wants you to bring back 8 collars from the links located to the north, and with those she might be able to make a magical item that might be able to turn some of them back from the crystal's control. So you head out to the north and kill 8 of the links to obtain their collars. Then you head back to report with Irona. She says that it doesn't give her any pleasure asking you to kill these animals, because they've managed to live in relative harmony for a pretty long time. But these are difficult times, and the first order of business is the survival of the Sindorai. Irona says that the tower and the surrounding area should be pretty secure for now, but that the entire island needs to be under control if we're to survive here in the long run. She then rewards you with the green plate vest for what you've done so far. Magistrix Irona now wants you to report to her assistant, Lanthrin Paralon. While Irona and others at the Sunspire will continue to deal with the burning crystal situation, Lanthan will instruct you on what needs to be done next. He can be located to the west of here along the path. Now before you go, there's a few people that wish to talk to you, or rather tell you that stuff needs to get done. First, you run into the Sunspire and speak to Well Watcher Solanian. He first talks about how the Sunspire had a great view of the Sunwell at one point. Okay, hold up. Since these quests may not give a big background as to what the Sunwell is, I'll just sum it up for you. The Sunwell is a font that empowered the High Elves for about 7,000 years. They were addicted to the power that it gave, and basically bathed in it every single day. Arthas showed up and invaded the land with the Scourge, used the Sunwell to resurrect kael'thas as a lich, and because of this ritual, the Sunwell was tainted. So Prince kael'thas Sunstrider rushed in and destroyed the now corrupted Sunwell in order to save his people. But the elves, now calling themselves Blood Elves, were left with the massive hunger for arcane magic. Okay, so now that you know that, let's get back to the quest lore. Solanian tells you that he's been accused of dwelling too much on the past, but believes that each visitor to the island should honor those who sacrificed everything so that people could still visit here. Dathramar's Sunstrider was one of those people, and he happened to be the elves' first king. He's well known for leading his people to this location all the way from Kalimdor via the Maelstrom. Now, Solanian wants you to seek out Dathramar's shrine and read the plaque before you return. While you're out there, Solanian says that he wasn't able to collect his belongings from different parts on the island because of all the chaos going on and his need to be here at the Sunspire. And I'm going to take a drink of water. I guess the guy treats this island like his own personal house. I don't know. So he wants you to collect his Scrying Orb, Scroll of Scourge Magic, and his journal. Plus, he gives you a satchel for some extra space, saying that these things are a bit bulky and you can keep the bag after you're all done. Now you head out of the Sunspire and run up to Arcanist Ithanis. He says that it's a shame that we've lost control of so many animals on the island, and that this used to be a tranquil place where you could study and research things, which is all that they can do to keep from being attacked by their own creations. kael'thas now wants to make a deal with you. If you bring back 6 arcane slivers from any creature on the island that uses mana, then he'll cast a spell on you that'll help you out on your travels. Now, what he'll use those arcane slivers for? Maybe we'll find out here soon. Lastly, you run up to Arcanist Hellion. He says that if there's one lesson you should learn while here on Sunstrider Island, then it's to learn to control your thirst for magic. So this addiction to magic that the Blood Elves have isn't going away. Ever. And what you absorb must be controlled and released via Arcane Torrent. If you don't do this, then you're at risk of becoming one of the wretched, which are Blood Elves, but they're hopelessly addicted and basically insane. Arcanist Hellion wants you to find a mana worm and then use Arcane Torrent on it, and return to him once you've done that. So now, after talking to all these people, you head out to get stuff done. First, you run up to Aronis' assistant, Lanthan Paralon. He says that the Falthrian Academy to the west of here is in really bad shape, and that you're gonna lead in recapturing it from the wretched. But before you go off charging in, Lanthan says that there's a task that needs to be dealt with immediately. The bestial tenders in the area used to help the Blood Elves with the gardening on Sunstrider Island. But now that they've lost control of everything here, they need to be taken out because they've become too aggressive. He wants you to kill 7 tenders and 7 feral tenders, and they can be located to the west of here. So now you head out, and make your way up to King Dathramar's shrine, killing the tenders that Lanthan wanted you to kill along the way, as well as picking up the arcane slivers upon killing them. And once you arrive at the shrine and begin reading the plaque, you sense a strong pulse of the strange power that has gripped the island, making you feel a bit uncomfortable standing at the shrine. The plaque honors Dathramar as one who made many sacrifices for the elves, and says that anyone who prospers in kael'thas should give thanks to him. After that's done, you make your way to the 3 different locations to gather Solanian's stuff. After you collect those, the last thing you do is use Arcane Torrent on one of the mana worms. Then you head back to report to everyone. When speaking to Solanian, you share with him your experience at the shrine. He says that the odd sensation you felt is from everything that's happening on the island at this moment, and thanks you for alerting him about it. You also deliver his personal items that he wanted you to get, and says that he'll put them to good use once it's safe to use the outdoor facilities again. Now you run up to Arcanist Ithanis and deliver the 6 arcane slivers. He says that many of the creatures on the island were once bound into non-aggression by our magical skills. But when the Scourge destroyed the Sunwell, that control over the creatures shattered. Arcane slivers are the remnants of the control that we had over them, and these slivers might be usable in making a device to regain their control. As promised, he casts a spell on you to help with your adventures. And I completely forgot to check what that spell is. I'm pretty sure it's some kind of buff. You're also rewarded with the Daylight Cloak for having collected all of the arcane slivers. Now, you make your way over to Arcanist Hellion. He says that you did well using the Arcane Torrent, and that your willingness to learn shows that you will rise above the cravings that we endure as Blood Elves. He then rewards you with the Green Plate Gauntlets for having shown control over your addiction. Lastly, you run up to Lanthan Paralon. He says that you're now ready for the most important task here on Sunstrider Island, and to prepare for that, he rewards you with either the Sunstrider Axe, Mace, or Sword, whichever you prefer to use. When speaking about the Falthrian Academy located to the southwest, Lanthan says that a betrayer named Felindrin resides at the top. He was banished from the Blood Elf lands for having not listened to the warnings of the elders. So Felindrin refused to learn to control his addiction to magic. And now he's become a threat to the Sunspire. You're to head to the academy and kill him along with his minions. That being 8 of his arcane wraiths and 2 tainted arcane wraiths. So now you head out to the academy, and upon arriving, you kill the 2 different types of wraiths. But upon killing the tainted one, it drops a tainted arcane sliver. It's different than the ones that you recovered before, but you're pretty sure that one of the arcanists would like to take a look at this. So you continue heading up, and once you reach the top, you engage Felindrin until he's no longer a threat, and remove his head as proof of his death. Then you leave the academy and return back to Arcanist Hellion. He says that the sliver that you brought back is interesting in a disturbing way, and that our efforts to reassert control over the island after the Sunwell was destroyed has been a challenge. But this sliver that you've obtained may uncover what's really going on here. Now, you head back to Lanthan and give him Felindrin's head. He says that you've succeeded where others have failed, and that perhaps you're ready to be a contributing member of the Blood Elf Society. Your success here means that you're capable of surviving the greater threats in Eversong, which is located directly to the south of here. He then rewards you with the Sunstrider Shield for having accomplished the task which you took upon yourself. Lanthorn then says that Magistrix Arona wanted you to head to Silvermoon City, so that you can help out with the efforts going on over there. And on your way out, Lanthorn wants you to speak to Outrunner Alarian, who helps transport items between here and the mainland. So maybe you can help out with that. She's located near the bridge leading out of Sunstrider Island. So you head out, and once you reach the bridge, you talk to Outrunner Alarian. She heard that you were on your way over here, and hopes that you don't have a problem helping them run a few errands. She says that the outrunning work between Sunstrider Island and Falcon Wing Square is a bit rough, mostly because of all the wretched that you have to deal with. The road south leads to the ruins of Silvermoon. Unfortunately, the wretched in there will do anything to rob you of a few mana crystals. And that's what they think happened to the last outrunner that they sent out that hasn't returned. Alarian wants you to head into the ruins of Silvermoon and look for the missing outrunner. From here, you prepare yourself as you head into Dawning Lane to confront the wretched and look for the missing outrunner. Okay, so we're off to an odd start with the Blood Elves. And to be honest, I did the best I could to summarize those quests and maybe even clean them up a little bit to make more sense. Because the writing in the text is a bit confusing, or at least it was for me. Some things just don't quite add up. So if you want to see what I'm talking about, then by all means go make a Blood Elf and start reading the quests. There's just something off about how they wrote everything. But other than that, we're off to a pretty good start. Huge thank you to the Patreon subscribers for supporting this channel. If you'd like to support this project through Patreon, then go ahead and check the link down below. Like, share, and subscribe to the channel if this is your sort of thing. And with that, we'll see you next week when we find out what happens next in the Tales of Azeroth. She says that the